Bitcoin is currently getting a little bouncier to the upside. The question is, will the bounce last for higher momentum, or are we simply yet again forming a higher low for continuation to the downside? Yesterday, during my update, I spoke about this WXY. Kudos to Andy for identifying this very complex corrective structure, where I highlighted it is very important for the bulls to claim this Y wave here to the upside. And then Bitcoin fell to the downside. It came back for a retest, and now price is where it is, round about the $61,000 area, where the bulls have failed to claim the Y wave and we fell to the downside. Now I see we're currently getting a bounce here from the price of Bitcoin. Let's go and analyze to see, well, can the price of Bitcoin continue here to the upside, or is this simply a lower high for continuation to the downside? Let's dive right in. Looking at Bitcoin here on the 4-hour time frame, I think there's something just very important that I want to highlight over here. And during this consolidation here, from the 5th of August up until where we are now, you can see it's just been a magnitude of three-wave structures. The interesting thing about three-wave structures is that they have three critical targets that you need to keep in mind. You can see we had a three-wave structure over here. We had another three-wave structure to the downside, another three-wave structure here to the upside, and can this now be the formation of another three-wave structure to the downside, where you basically have 3, 3, 3, 3. The interesting thing that I have noticed doing some analysis this morning is the one-to-one extensions, and here you can see, okay, you have a three-wave structure to the downside, and when you take a fib extension from the high to the low to the high, we have tapped the one-to-one extension to perfection, where we got the reversal. Again, three-wave structure to the upside, guess what? One-to-one extension tapped to perfection. Now the question is, when I look at this potential three-way structure that's forming here to the downside, the one-to-one extension is at $57,840. So for now, from a probability perspective, okay, there is still a high chance for us to come and claim these lows, like I highlighted during my live stream, at $60,000 and even go as low as $57,000. I do want to highlight that the 0.618 and also the 1.236, these are the three critical three-wave structure targets, are also targets. So we could potentially come down as low as $56,275. Or now the question is, we have bounced on the 0.618, which is also a three-wave structure target. The concerning thing about this target here for me at the moment is that the market is here to surprise us. So what if this happens and it catches all the technical traders off guard? One thing that I do want to highlight from looking at the structure is just taking the scribble here out the way. Okay, when I zoom into this price action over here, okay, let's just switch this off, go back onto the 1 hour. The reason I think we could potentially still go down to lower levels, it is very uncommon for a corrective structure to make a higher low, especially when you tap the 0.88 level. And what I mean by that is when you take a fib from the low to the high of this wave, you can see that we have tapped the 0.88. Often what happens is when you tap the 0.88, you will often see a retracement back to the 0.618, which has perfect confluence with this resistance box that are over here. This was the critical support that needed to hold for the bulls to still see continuation to the upside. And yesterday we have lost the support, which now flipped into resistance. So it would be common for the price to go and retest the scene of the crime, yet again making a lower high, and then continue the momentum to the downside to go and claim this low. Once you tap the 0.88, it does increase probabilities that you are going to come and claim this low and potentially go to that $57,000 area that I've just highlighted. So I wouldn't bank on this momentum here to the upside to be bullish just as yet, where we're just going to pump and not stop here to the upside. I think for now, the probabilities are still higher that we could potentially find downwards continuation, since we have lost a critical area of support over here. You can see how beautifully this support area held, okay, with a bounce, we went up, okay, it held with a bounce, we got a nice little momentum here to the upside, and that's the pivot that I highlighted yesterday during my live stream that needed to hold. The bulls needed to reclaim this pivot for this corrective structure to be invalidated, which the bulls failed to do, and then we got massive momentum here to the downside. Also, one thing that I'm tracking is I often speak about the trend is your friend until the very end, and when we lost the trend over here, this trend to the upside was not our friend anymore. And now I'm tracking this momentum here to the downside where I'm basically connecting this pivot against this pivot, and I wouldn't be surprised if price finds the strength over here, it breaks the trend. It's going to make a lot of people bullish to say that we're going back to $100,000, only to have a fake out and a rejection in this zone for continuation to the downside to come and claim these lows once again. Also, zooming into the 15-minute time frame and just looking at this local structure that is forming over here, when I take a Fibonacci from this pivot, okay, with this drop that we had to the downside and I connect it to the lows, you can see where price is currently struggling at the 0.382. Okay, and also this 0.618 lines up perfectly with the bigger 0.618, which means that if price finds the strength here to the upside, I will definitely be keeping an eye on this zone for potential short to the downside and even going to claim that $57,000 area. Remember, if you'd like to come and trade with me, down in the description for the best deals and the lowest fees, the biggest sign-up bonuses, I've got under exchanges, I've got Bluffin with no KYC. All you need is a password or email to sign up and you can start trading in minutes. And then also they still have that $100,000 competition running. Once you've signed up with the link below, you can still come and partake in this $100,000 competition, which is still running for 3 days and 14 hours, where we will share in a pool of $100,000 depending on how well you trade inside of the competition. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the alpha, hit the like button, subscribe for future notifications, and until the next one, cheers for now.